Hey everyone, welcome to 32 Thoughts, the podcast. I'm Jeff Merrick. Uh, with me is my host, Elliot Friedman.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, it's the Zubes. Zubes is here. Um, yeah, it's no one. Anyways, let's just get into it. Okay. JJ Redick's the new head coach of the Lakers. Thoughts?
I mean, I think the easy joke that every podcaster is going for right now is like, well, it opens the door for a podcaster to Lakers is not like a real thing though. That sort of is my takeaway. The Lakers are the TV entertainment product version of basketball. So I'm in favor of it. How about you? Where do you land on
Yeah.
LeBron's podcast becoming how his team gets run?
Yeah, no, it's I've had a lot of just kind of push and pull, like, is he the man for the job? Honestly, like just to be real for a second, it's really like low key when Aaron Boone was hired for the Yankees.
It is. It is.
I
It is.
mean, not quite, but like Gen Z version of it. God, it used to be online. Well, Keith Law, the person I would be like, no managerial experience. It's like, oh my
Been around the
God.
game. Been around the
I,
game.
I know. And it's funny because it's like, fuck, if I was on the other side and some dude just walked in, well, Aaron Boone's got for it's like if someone walked in from computer science, yeah.
Baseball managing is a different thing though, right? Because there's only five guys. Like a basketball coach, I legitimately can see the argument for like no coaching experience to what is modern day NBA coaching now. Like you have to know a lot. Where baseball managing, I think right now, I at least have the impression of like it's not that much about teaching the guys how to play baseball or like making, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
or like situational, hey guys, make sure you do X and Y. It's like you have a lot of data being given to you from the front office of how they sort of want the teams run anyway. Your job is to like make sure nobody is just like insanely pissed off all the time and like being a dick. That's what I feel.
Yeah. That's that's true. And oh man, I did a Sporkle as a I try it was name the last five managers for each team.
Oh my goodness, I would struggle.
It was fun. I think I missed two current ones. That's all I wanted.
That's impressive. You have a real encyclopedic like ability to pull from
It
different
gets in
times.
there. It gets in there and it is in there. Sorry, Pedro Grifal. I missed you.
Oh yeah.
I forget who else. But who was the Pirates guy that always used to get red?
Oh man, I want to say it with Bud Black.
No, 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 no.
No, I know who you're talking. I know you're
Bud
talking about.
Bud Black's like kind of handsome. Like this guy is just like born to get red.
You're just gonna have audio of me not
Yeah.
knowing.
No,
So
no, no.
you
No, I want if we I did it. I don't know who no one 50 some people listened to the last one. I did a
good.
I did a Dora the Explorer pause. I'm really into that. I'm just like, why don't you tell me who the manager is?
Yeah, I mean, you've
That's
inspired me.
right.
You've inspired me. This project you're putting together, it's inspired me. You inspire me. Your exit from Twitter, the talking baseball with you, it's so untainted. It's
Yeah.
so untainted. You're not
Yeah.
drinking from the same like pools of water as everybody else.
Yeah.
Really, really fresh.
No, because there and like just observation, it's like stuff gets kind of passed through to the like either it's at the letters people or maybe it's Stoughton or someone that it's like this becomes the thought we have to talk about. And
Right.
it kind of might have a basis somewhere because they might have gotten it from something. Sorry to speak so like vaguely, but like then we start talking about it like it matters. And then it
Right.
becomes like a whole week or two. And it's like, I don't have that anymore. I don't
Sure.
have that like, oh, we really got to talk about the pitching depth or something. Like we do, obviously, but like
Hmm.
pitching depth's not real because no one has
Well,
no.
you even saw this year. It's like, and I think this is a lot of what's happened in the 2024 Blue Jays, where like they're in this situation. You look at it and like, like, well, how much more insured should they have possibly made the pitching depth?
Yeah.
It's like they had there's four guys at the beginning of the year that they thought they could go through, and they went through all four of them in like 45 days.
Yeah.
It it would be this is, and I think this is part of the problem. I know we don't have a plan for this, so it's sort of scattershot, but I think it is representative of the whole thing right now, where it's like it just sort of it's just sort of playing out. All the different paths, it gets smaller and smaller, and now this is just the one path that they're on, and it's sort of like the real problem that I'm seeing is the big conversation, and you mentioned things are filtering down. We're starting to get into that, like the next month dictates what the big picture move of the team is going to be, and the problem I think they're running into now is like you're also going to have to upgrade the bullpen if you actually believe they're going to be a playoff team. If you're still of the belief that like they're going to sneak into the playoffs, they need to make bullpen acquisitions now, and it's like it's very difficult to address the amount of things they may have to address to actually be an effective buyer.
Yeah. You watch a couple different teams, different games, and man, sometimes and then I have to remind myself it's not even half a season. Things fall apart so quickly, but like
For sure.
I'm pretty sure the Brewers got Tyler McGill for nothing. Nothing. He's like could be on JJ Redick's team, throw in 100.
Yeah.
Like and like uh there's the Padres guy who set the record. Was it Jeremy Estrada? I think that's the guy for strikeouts in a row or something. And the Cubs just gave him away. Cubs just I think not
It
to
happens.
not to pull memory as I do. I was at the Cubs game in Stroman started. It was me, Doc, Blake, and Ricky. And I
Wow.
think Blake was talking about Estrada. He's like, this guy is just up, crazy high spin, whatever. And I'm like, that's cool. And given away, like
Yeah, it happens.
I hate relievers. I hate relievers. Like they're just gonna have to invent someone. Like it's not worth like thinking about. Invent as in like Pardino's something. He's not.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like I microdosed Twitter today. I'm so sorry. Like it's just been kind of slow a couple days.
Sure.
So I saw a Chris Black thread on. I'm not looking. I just briefly scrolled the for you.
Dangerous.
Um,
You're going dangerously into
no, I don't.
reveal here.
I don't even go into the baseball stuff. The housing is my candy. That's just like, oh my god,
Yeah,
it's
you're trying to run a business as well, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But housing's just like, hey, do you like this hammer? What if you hit it against your head the whole time? You're like, holy shit, I really like doing that. I really like this hammer hitting my head all the time. Don't ever go on that side. But Pardino's like 91 to 94. Like, okay, next, who cares? But like Clay Holmes was invented. He
Sure.
was, and I hate Clay Holmes.
But they're trying. They're trying. There's this is the thing. Like they haven't. That's the one thing they didn't really do, right? The for all the talk about because they got a lot of flack again recently. It became a talking point, and they've sort of directly built the team since then. In reflection of that, but the talking point was they hadn't developed anything of the second wave, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're putting every guy we developed into the lineup, and they're going to hit first and second and like fifth. Like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Here's every guy we are trying to develop all at once. Like, they can't even do that with pitching. Is the real thing, because they tried to do as much as they possibly could out of the beginning of the year to ensure that they wouldn't be somebody that was like being severely punished for not developing any pitching, and that's sort of the thing. These long timelines, there's sort of the way baseball has existed is like whatever the weaknesses are, they're going to have a period where they're exposed, and it's impossible to be impossible to have enough pitching depth that they have, and I think now that that's leaking into the bullpen, that is where it's going from like that firm belief for me of things are going really poorly, and but like you said, and I think everybody knows that following the league, like 54% baseball is just fine. Like now, if you're playing 54%, all good. Like there's no real, you shouldn't be complaining or something. Um, with that built in, like I'm sure there's other teams if I watch them more, but like, well, it's not like any team in the Central has a great bullpen that I'm supposed to. You know what I mean? There's they just ran into the Cleveland one and played pretty well. So
Ugh.
it's like the bullpen it leaking in is where it. And I sort of want to get more from you on this because you mentioned to me earlier this week about the Gosman thing about the having to pitch well or they don't win.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I think part of that I'm not surprised by that like thought, even if it's being parsed in a way that the legitimacy or like the way that he meant it and all that, but um, that's starting to extend to the bullpen. And when you don't have a bullpen, the team is just so bad at like going run for run with someone. It's like they can get out to a lead and hold leads, but if like we saw Boston the other night when it becomes 3-2, then 4-3, then it's like they are struggle making it 5-4. They struggle making it. You know, I mean that's been the problem with the no fast runs thing. So yeah, sort of you've had a strong thought about Gosman or two to me.
Yeah. Well, okay, so there's a lot. I want to touch on a couple things first, and then I'm going to get into my thing that I don't think anyone's going to agree with. And you got to have one of those.
Of
You know,
course.
we're in the entertainment business, you and I. So overall, just like going back to like pitching depth and whatnot, like it's like not worth talking about. But if you don't think all 30 teams are literally having the exact same conversation,
Sure.
like and like the Mariners bullpen is has staples that are Taylor Saucedo
Yes.
and Trent Thornton. They are
Amazing.
mainstays in a first place bullpen. Do not ever think about bullpens. Just don't do it, everyone.
They spent
Uh,
so much money on theirs is the
I
thing.
needed Chad to be good, and he's been hanging out, not pitching so much, and then he pitches, and then it's not good.
He's been like I, he's been just not around enough. Like,
Yep,
and
yep,
I understand the like prevailing thought, and it's obviously true that relievers get hurt, and that sort of a thing is like it was such a known thing that he was hurt when they signed him and was going to get hurt. Like again, it's like relievers get hurt. That is an absolute
yeah,
fact. You know who definitely gets hurt is relievers who are already hurt. Like those guys are definitely going to get hurt,
yeah,
and it's a big commitment, but it is a part of they didn't create a guy like you said they need to create a guy they didn't create really anything so they've had to pay $10 million for a
yeah,
guy who it's like it's tough.
yeah, yeah. I like. I'm I'm such an acceptor of fate, of course,
Of
but
course.
like teams also just go buy a reliever for fun because it's like, oh, we're shopping.
Yes.
We're just shopping. Like the Astros bought Hater. Well, we're just shopping. Like sometimes you just buy like an 8, $10 million reliever. You're out shopping. Like
Sure.
I have, I bought a Mars bar. Like I'm like that's I'm having that for breakfast. I'm not like it's just I didn't need it for dinner. I'm having it for breakfast. But yeah, like and watching the Guardians and the Red Sox, who are none of those ERAs are going to stay that. And they might, but then, which is not a consolation of like next year they won't.
Right.
To, to call back to Keith Law, it's like, well, Kevin Biggio's not on the roster anymore. So, I was right. He's not a
He
major
wins.
league player. He's only on the
Yeah.
Dodgers now.
Yeah, I get it. I get
But,
it.
oh man, to just have like a hot start would be
I
so
know.
cool
I know.
because then
Why
you
not us?
forget you
Why not us?
it was not us. It was it is something, and I wanted to one day look into it. It's just like I'm certain it's not real, but like and you just ride hot starts out and be fine. Just because, right, everything evens out. But if you start with a hot streak, so much easier to buy after that.
Correct.
And like, what's your hot streak built off? Is it built off bad teams? You're going to play good teams later, or like you were just clicking then and then you have bad teams later? Like, there's a lot to it, as is baseball. But just like starting off hot, having everyone like confident that their numbers will never look bad
Yes.
is foreign. Like,
I know. I know. It feels like you sort of said, whether it is factually true or not, it is. It also puts you in a situation, as you said, like you're eager to buy. And when your numbers cool off after you've had a hot start, it feels more like we just got to get back to doing what we were doing versus you get off to the start that they're off now. And it's like, are we ever going to solve this problem? And like last year is a great example. It's like there was a big chunk of time where they were actually a pretty good team with runners in
yeah,
scoring position, but they had started out so dreadful about it that it felt extra like it didn't even count the normalization of that number didn't even like count emotionally because it was like almost like fuck them for getting the hits now sort of thing. So
it was. That's
that's carried a lot of resentment. The slow starts have carried a lot of resentment. I mean, there's no question.
yeah, yeah. Well, I have to get to my Gossman thing because I wanted to say it, but also like that's such like a which has been a theme for a bit is like rooting against the team. Just
Absolutely. Yeah. People do it. I do
I
it. I'm guilty of it a lot
well,
of the time.
okay. I have my number that I'm very stuck at looking at. I think everyone who I text with generally knows it. I'll say it's Vlad slugging. Like
Sure.
every time
Yeah,
every
yeah,
time it's under 400, I'm celebrating. It's so fucking funny. It's
it's crazy.
unfathomable. It's impossible.
It's crazy. He's got 7 home runs.
Uh,
7. It's June 20th. The All-Star game is coming up, and he's gonna go to the home run derby and hit like 60 in one day. Like,
Ricky forwarded me a Sam Miller article on Nolan Shanuel
mhm.
about how he is the weakest batter in baseball and what he would be if he had this much extra exit
Right.
velocity,
I read
whatnot.
that.
Because he
Yeah,
scored,
yeah.
yeah, it was a good one. It was good. Sam's still good, but he has 8 home runs. That is one more than Vlad.
It's not
The
possible, man. It's
the
not possible.
like again, and I used to pump this out on Twitter last season. Like, oh, we had impossible results with all these people hitting their 20th percentile projections, and it'd be like George, Vlad, Manoa, Kirk, whatever. It's like, you want to see the impossible? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it, he is such an unbelievable, like, perfect storm guy for the people um, that that are just sort of naturally attuned to like questioning those things, questioning expected stats, because like expected is the perfect word for it. I've been expecting Vlad to be
yeah,
great for the entire time. Like, yeah,
hits every time.
I don't need to look it up. To me, his expected stats are very good, and they aren't. I've been expecting him to be good, and listen, it's this crazy thing. Like the how hard he hits the ball and how often he hits the ball like hard. It's like crazy. He's up there with everybody, and it's just there is just this. I don't even know what to say. Curse in the world where he's 7 home runs is like it's borderline absurd.
It's yeah, like I said, like simulate the season on forever. Like, how many times is that? How many times is
I know.
he plays every day?
I know like the opening day 1, 2, 3, 4 is literally for a like Vlad's again. You do the Vlad thing where it's like um yes the lack of power and the slugging I understand and agree it drives me nuts too, but also like the other 3 guys in the top 4 opening day like just Bichette and Springer are taking the most at bats to the first
Yeah.
part of the season. It's just like this is nothing over and over again. It was
Yeah.
just nothing. And then you had Turner, who's like turned it around since everyone started pointing out that he's been really slow.
It's so
But
cool that he's turning it around.
he
It's
does it. He's
fucking hilarious.
I remember you mentioning that you had heard colloquially he's like a slow starter kind of guy.
Yeah. And then someone, I think Seth looked up the numbers. It's like, no, he's never been. I'm like, all right, cool. That's good.
Colloquially, I heard that he is. That's
Yeah.
all I ever
Yeah.
need.
No,
All I ever need.
I looked at the splits. He's having like a reverse Vlad because, well, Justin Turner's May is so funny. How do you get 8 hits in a month?
Well, they plenty of guys on this team can answer that question for you. I think
Yeah, I because Danny Jansen's at 6 for June.
that's wild.
It's there's been off days, so
What do you, yeah, of course. What do you attribute that to? Is it as easy as saying the lineup dysfunction, the fact that he's hitting second suddenly?
no, it's just
That's ball.
uh so I texted you that when you Google your Twitter when you're logged out, it only shows your most popular ones
That's
rather
wild.
than chronological. And I made
Mhm.
that Danny Jansen edit a long time ago where it's the cycle of
Right.
he's doing the reverse because it's like comes off the injured list, gets a million hits, doesn't get a hit again, gets injured. People want
Right.
it. It used to be the opposite. He'd get no hits, then get a billion, and then get injured, and everyone would be like, over
Just when he
162
was figuring it out.
games,
Yeah.
like this guy's the greatest hitter ever, and he's awesome. Like
Yes.
he's a catchers don't. If your catchers are awesome defensively and like don't like literally never get a hit, like you're fine. You're fine.
Yes.
You'd like better. And a lot of times it's been better. But like sometimes you just have to accept what a catcher does
Is. Yeah.
first.
Absolutely right.
So I do that with the catchers because I have to cope with rooting for Kirk. It's fine.
It just so happens that he's like the least. It's one of those things. He just happens to be like the least clutch hitter. Like it's unbelievable. It's like
I
whether
know.
your belief in the large picture quantifiableness of that, or if it is like a real. It just so happens that for the last little bit, nobody you couldn't be worse,
I know.
more or less. Often he is,
I
even if
know.
he does put some good at bats together, they just so happen to not be in leverage spots. Another thing that's playing Springer, every big Springer at bat is just like complete waste. He might hit it like a 1 out bases empty double or something. But
They
it's rough.
they have to walk on the whole field from home. They should walk from home plate to the wall to find out how actually far it is. Because how many players on this team think like a fly ball hit right to the outfielder's like, well, that's as far as I can hit it. Like they don't hit it.
It's
They don't hit it any farther. Like
wild.
I watch and I'm like, is no one just gonna get one over someone's head? They hit a home run sometimes, but
Yeah, Varsho
yeah,
hits home runs now and then.
yeah, no, and um I love watching Varsho because it's just hook him. He's he's just hooking anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, does everything else perfectly. I love Varsho.
Um, yeah. So Turner's had the opposite of Vlad. Vlad's had two average months and then one big May, and then Turner's been good, and then May was eight hits,
When you
which
say when you say one big May on Vlad, what line?
like 169 weighted runs created plus something like that.
Pretty good.
And the like April was 100. We're doing like 99 now.
Yeah.
It's um I texted Avery this. Do you who does Vlad catch Horowitz in OPS this year? Horowitz is leading.
Oh Lord. Geez. Horwitz also doesn't hit for much power, but Neither does Vlad. I mean, geez, I think I have to. He will. He will.
Yeah,
He will. He
we
will.
ha- we have to hold out that hope. He's look good. The Jays are
Amazing. I can't believe he can play second base. I can't. It's
uh,
like it's the most it's the I've seen a lot of ridiculous things in my time. I don't remember many as like the guy's been playing first base in your minor league system for years. He is 26 and you're like, "You know what? Go play second for like 50 innings," and then you call him up and to play second every day and hit second. It's unreal.
I hate it. I'm it's they should continue doing it. I hate it. He's
Listen,
not.
yeah, I'll give them this. I'll give them this. This is a tip of the cap right back to the team, the way the team is being run. They're pulling every lever they have. Like
Yep.
this is the most. This is by far the most of all the criticisms you can have of them. You certainly can't say that they're not acting desperate. Like they're not acting to do whatever they can to try to fix with what they have. They're trying everything. After a Relvis gets called up, the only idea left is like to call up Tiedemann if he
Yep.
pitches 6 innings.
Yep.
That's the only other lever. They have no other levers left.
Yep.
There's nothing else after you get to the Arelvis call up on a team that already has four Bisons on it. That's it. Like the Yariel one is a great example where I remember before the season started, how quickly the like what we're asking of Yariel is like hilarious, right? He gets signed and we're like, okay, he has an option. He can spend the year like maybe starting in Buffalo, and maybe if we need him to come up and be a long guy. And it's like 3 weeks into the season, it's like, no, he's the number five starter. Like, and he gets hurt, and as soon as he comes back, he's back to the number five. Like
Yep.
he needs to immediately be pitching bulk major league innings every fifth day. It's like it very quickly changed this year, and they're trying everything they have.
Yes. So I'm on a free trial of Zoom. So
Very nice.
we're running with 6.5 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get to my here's my Gosman take on the pitchers have to be perfect. Okay. Oh, you have to pitch well? Oh, holy shit, that's how oh, if I don't pitch well, we're not gonna win. Yeah. Whoa.
That's what the money's for. Yeah.
Like Gosman's been bad. Like he's been lucky. Like sure,
They booted they booted it around behind him last night.
yeah, they did. But he gave up home run. And Manuel Valdez hit a bomb off of him. Jaron Duran, the wild horse, love the Red Sox got some fun players.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a little bitten, by the Red Sox bug.
Yeah, I'm a Beantown guy.
Can tell.
Devers the best, just the best to ever do it. Tyler O'Neill, your team should only have one of him,
Right.
but when be happy they have one of that because
Yeah.
just like slick, tight, thick, the lot. Yeah, Jared Duran literally tearing up the grass when he runs, so sick, just wide. I've posted a video once upon a time, but yeah, Gosman has waited until he pitches against like a really bad team, gets 6 shutout innings, and then he had one good start against the Yankees. That was awesome at the start of the year. But now, like Guardians, like you gave up, you kept giving up doubles to just the randomly generated white boys that the Guardians pump out to fill out their nine. Like those are not real players. And you're I can't do the 90 91 all the time and then oh I have a 97 sometimes in a start.
Right.
Be serious. These games matter. Oh, if I don't pitch well. Oh, because you're throwing 91 down the middle to Masataka Yoshida.
He didn't have a spring. Remember he
Yeah.
didn't have a spring, and everyone was telling me it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Everyone was telling me he's gonna be healthy. Don't worry about it.
It's it's better he's pitching than not, but
Yes,
he's been the fourth starter.
correct.
Like, I mean, Brios has been awesome. He's doing it 80s style, like fuck the
Brios is
numbers. We're
yeah,
we're we're making it happen, baby.
yeah. Brios
Strikeouts,
said they're
walks,
pitching.
no, 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 no. Win loss,
Hell yes.
win loss. So if you're really a FIP lover or whatever, I haven't. You'll be like Barrios has been the worst, but like, well, if you're an XERA Chad, Gosman's at 5. Like his his strikeouts per nine are under 9. He was 11 last year. So he's been bad. And to go and be like, oh, I have to pitch perfect. No, just pitch so that we don't lose.
It's a tough assignment, man. It's a tough
I
assignment. They don't
know.
give them
And
much.
like the Bassett ones are a little more like I'll listen to that because holy shit. Like
And I mean, if I remember
so
correctly, Gosman
good.
Gosman had a lot of low scoring games again last year as well.
Yeah.
He had some crazy lack of run support. I get it.
Yeah.
He's had a hard times.
No, for sure. I mean,
It is tough. I'll say that the thing is, it is tough. Like you say, the XFIP god, and when he the first 2 years of the story about like, man, he has this crazy the bad luck he's having. It's like
yeah.
it's weird because by every other metric, all the fielders are great. like, like
Yeah.
everybody else seems to think the catchers are doing a great job and the outfielders are the best you could possibly have.
Yeah. Holy
like, I don't know, man. I
well,
don't know.
that's kind of to help wind it down. That something I think about with this team because I go like, man, this team's unlucky. But
Sure,
here's the thing: you have to be good to be lucky. You ever heard that one?
I have. Yeah,
That's a real baseball thing of just like when you're spreadsheet stand looking at a BABIP, looking at a ex ex-woba, like you have to be good to be lucky.
and the thing about um being unlucky for a long period doesn't mean you're going to be. There's no rule saying you're going to become lucky because of that.
Yes, I
Numbers don't have to, like, I think the expected stats gets to, I get to this as well. For like the
oh
numbers
you
don't have to normalize. It doesn't have to. There's this belief that because they've been unlucky, it'll stop being unlucky. It's like not really. It's like the BABIP, they could be like 28th in the league. People will point out. I'm like somebody finishes 28th. I don't know, like you know what I mean.
yeah
Like every
yeah
team doesn't finish 15th. That's not how it works. Sometimes teams have bad luck for extended periods, and this team might just be bad. You know.
y- you got to be bad to be unlucky.
That's true. That's true.
I'm I'm gonna keep watching the games. I'm gonna keep. I don't. I practice while I watch. I practice rudiments on a drum pad, and I just
Sure.
stare at the TV while they torture me during the whole time. And I'm just like, I'm like, all right, this is my life, and that's it. That's it. But
Amen.
if you got anything left, we the Zoom's about to ask me to pay, which I will not.
Yeah.
I
Thanks
will
for having me
not.
on, man. This was great.
Yeah. No, first guest, best guest.
Means a
Yeah,
lot. Means a lot.
and ever. No, it was awesome.